Here we go then, gamers. New Skimmer update splash onto the scene with Visions of Eternity. Of course, one of the features of the upcoming expansion is the Skimmer rework. And here we're getting a little bit of a taste, a little sip of what's going to be going on there. First of all, we get to see all of this in action on Friday, which is either tomorrow or indeed today, depending on when you're actually watching this. So definitely stay tuned for that. There'll be some more information going over that, and maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more as well. Who knows? I'll definitely go over it on stream. Maybe it will make its way into a video. Like, I'm gonna keep you guessing on that one. But anyway, what's going on here? Okay, so during your time in Castora, you will likely stumble upon a new yet familiar creature that calls this island home. Wavehawks, otherwise known as skimmers in Elonian local parlance, are masters of both the sea and the sky. They've adapted to the island's rich energies, and when tamed, they become a valuable asset for those attempting to survive on Castora. Unlike the skimmers that reside in the deserts of Elona, these skimmers evolved in a setting rich with ley magic that runs through root and sand. This has turned the Wavehawks into highly mobile mounts that can navigate with ease and grace over all kinds of terrain, as well as boasting some new combat and exploration abilities. So basically, they're just juicing it up. Very much like the Warclaw, it's going to be way more mobile. It's going to be way more versatile as well, right? The Skimmer, of course, very, very niche right now. Is fun to use underwater, but of course, you're not underwater all that often. So it's going to be a whole lot better all over the place. So we basically have a sniff ability. We can detect threats and enemies. We can also find treasure as well. You can float higher up into the air as well. Using hover makes you go up in exchange for the stamina, so a little bit like the sky skill almost, so you might be able to go pretty high using that, and you can go a little bit faster as well, kind of like how they made the Warclaw go faster as well. And then water jets, which is kind of like this combat ability. Commands the skimmer to fire a set of projectiles that damages enemies and heals allies. When you hold down, it continues to fire up to the maximum ammo count. And you can kind of see, we kind of saw this a little bit in the trailer. So this is kind of what it looks like, right? You can see here, here's the thing, and then boom, pew, 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 pew. So you fire out loads of little orbs that will be able to heal your allies, but of course also do damage to enemies there. So a little bit of a combat feature there. Of course, you know, it is a mount at the end of the day, so the DPS is not going to be crazy. But you know, there's maybe some room to make the support functionality a little bit better with this, and maybe you can actually dish out some like good healing and boons with your skimmer. So how do you actually do that? Well, as expected, just like Janthir Wilds, you're going to do this with Masteries. So advanced hydrodynamics grants your skimmer the ability to dive underwater. So in other words, this is a mastery that exists in Path of Fire, but you're going to be able to do that with with Visions of Eternity as well. For those who already have this unlocked with Skimming the Depths Trained, it will also increase the base speed of the skimmer, as well as grant temporary stealth while diving in and out of water. This is something we saw them do with the Sky Scale too. There's like a benefit for going back and doing the older content as well, unlocking it that way. So you're going to want, it doesn't like make the old masteries redundant or make the old skimmer progress stuff redundant, because you're going to get this rather cool boost where you're going to go a little bit faster if you have this mastery and Skimming the Depths, and you also get that kind of cool stealth thing. That's kind of fun actually. So when you dive in and out of the water, you're going to have some stealth to maybe like go past some enemies or sneak up on foes or escape potentially when you're diving in and out of the water. Because of course, here is another thing. There's some baseline versions here. Like, how would you escape in combat with the skimmer? Well, they're making it so that even if you don't have any of this stuff unlocked, base level upgrades to the skimmer. You can now dismount the skimmer in midair, similar to the flying mounts, and you can mount in combat with no mastery training required. So that's how you could, you know, use that stealth feature to escape enemies or something like that. And of course, indeed, the opposite. You could, you know, use it to re-engage with opponents too. So some pretty cool usages there, I think, of that mastery. Castoran Intuition unlocks the skimmer's ability to use Aether Location while also enhancing the barrel roll engage skill. This enhanced version of the skill allows for multiple dashes without dismounting at the cost of stamina. So you can keep doing your spin and giving barrier, and I think it revives too or something. To allies as well, so pretty powerful. When it's held, the ability will activate its dismount portion of the skill. So yeah, if you do still want to use that dismount ability, then you need to, yeah, you do actually have to just hold the button down. Pretty good usage of the tech there, in my opinion. I really like the idea of, you know, you hold down the button to fire, you go pew, 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 and then you use this, you'll just like keep spinning around until you run out of stamina. I think that could be pretty interesting. That'd be like a pretty immersive ability to use. Convergent Evolution unlocks the skimmer's slipstream boost and water jet skills. This is kind of like the combat portion of it. For those with Ride the Wind trained, it will further increase the aerial ascent power of hover high while slipstream boost is active. So in other words, you'll go a little bit higher, probably a fair bit higher actually. Again, like, because bear in mind, like, when they were talking about the Warclaw, everyone's going like, oh, wow, you're going to be able to jump a little bit higher. And then when you actually see it, you were jumping like crazy, right? I think that they really are going to want to make this mount pretty powerful, pretty versatile, useful in a whole lot of different situations. So I'd expect the actual hover bonus you get from this to be pretty useful. It will help you like climb over stuff pretty easily, I think. They certainly want this mount to be useful. You're going to be diving underwater, right? Like climbing out there as well, all that kind of stuff. And that's going to be emphasized with the Riptide Rider, which grants your skimmer the ability to ride ley lines and updrafts both above and within the water, which is actually going to be pretty cool because this means that they're going to be putting ley lines and updrafts under the water, right? So you're going to be able to ascend really quickly, right? Descend on a ley line, go up on a ley line, surge out of the water on a ley line, like up onto a little floating island or something like that. I think there's some really cool potential for level design here, actually. And I think that is something that I have felt, to be frank, has been a little lacking, actually. If anything, with Guild Wars 2. So I'm really hoping they've gone hard on this, and there's like loads of little mini games, loads of little like, almost like puzzles that you have to do. I'm a big fan of jumping puzzles and indeed the mount puzzles, right? Like, for example, the Jackal Portal puzzles in Path of Fire, I think are really fun. And indeed, of course, like the jumping puzzles and the terrain elements that use updrafts and gliding, say Verdant Brink, for example, or indeed all of the Heart of Thorns maps have these little puzzles that use gliding, use updrafts, use mushrooms, right? Like use all these different components of the Masteries to generate some really exciting level design that we kind of haven't seen actually for a while, right, in Guild Wars 2. So I hope they've gone hard on this because that could be really exciting in that kind of initial exploration phase. And when you're finding all of the secrets, right, like uncovering all the mastery points, right, all of the hero points potentially as well for the elite specializations, all of the collections that might come along with the legendaries. So I think this could actually be rather exciting and lead to some really fun kind of movement opportunities within the game. So this one, I think, is going to be the star of the show, I want to say, or at least it should be, if that level design is going to be able to kind of match the energy of this mastery. And yeah, we already talked about this. There's some baseline upgrades as well. Specifically, even if you've got no masteries, you can use it in combat and you can dismount in the middle of the air, which makes sense, right? Seeing as we're getting all these like levitation abilities and ley line abilities. So it makes a lot of sense that you're able to kind of hop off whenever you want and indeed kind of get on it during combat and then like fly away or something or go into stealth. And you can see here's the pretty cool skin. This is like the jellyfish skin that you can obtain. You can obtain it right now, in fact, if you're into that sort of thing. With, you know, like, you know what you got to do, guys, okay? But anyway, that's it. Bit of a short and sweet notification. I don't need to really waffle any longer about this. I think there's some pretty interesting stuff there, particularly with those ley lines. I mean, the combat stuff, I don't know, like, it is what it is, guys. Like, it's not going to be a crazy big deal. If we're going to be honest, like, you know, you can pew things, you can like leech some events, okay, with it maybe, especially with the healing. Like healing's great for tagging events, guys. I want to tell you that Skimmer's going to be putting in the work there. But of course, stay tuned, guys, because very, very shortly, Friday, September the 19th at noon Pacific time, there's going to be a stream going on the stream. We will react areas, puzzles to go through, like mazes, obstacle courses, right? That's the kind of stuff that I think can really, you know, really deliver on this, right? Because I felt this is something that they did okay in Janthir Wilds because you had the Warclaw races that were actually rather fun to do, but I'd love to see them go even further on that, right? Like kind of in the direction of the Griffin races, right? And like those Griffin mastery kind of thing. I would love to see them really build some of this functionality into the level design, right? Give us something that's going to be a real blast, like a bit of a challenge, right? A little bit of a puzzle to explore on launch. That would be fantastic, right? Like the small little sips of that we got in Janthir Wilds with like, you know, the bee jumping puzzle, for example, you know, that secret area with the bees and stuff like that was really, really cool. And of course, all the collections there as well. So yeah, especially now that we've got hero points, there's some real potential to add some like proper exploration challenges, some little kind of mount puzzles into the game. That could be really cool. I'm liking the sound of this. So let's hope that they have the level design to back up what they've got in terms of the mounts. But yep, that's going to do it. It's going to be a quick one. It's going to be a quick one, guys. For me, we're done here. What do you think? I mean, are you full of energy? Do you crave the skimmer? Can you not wait to activate your skimmer? I don't know. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Okay, I have no idea about that. Also, look at my screen flickering. By the way, that's actually a Windows bug, by the way. And they still haven't fixed it. There's even been a couple of updates. Okay, but there's some weird stuff going on with multi-monitor support. I don't even want to tell you. But anyway, that's going to do it. Leave your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think of the skimmer. Of course, we'll have more news on this soon, so definitely stay tuned. And as always, you guys know the drill. You follow, you subscribe, you watch, you engage with the content, okay? You buy the game using the referral link, guys. Because look, how are you going to get your jellyfish skin without it? Like, you're not. You are not going to be capable of doing that. Like, sure, do you want the jellyfish skimmer? Look, there you go. There it is. This could be yours, guys. The Castoran tentacled skimmer. Wow. Look at that thing. Absolutely glorious. Just gracefully sliding, slithering around the land, and it could be yours. Okay, so get in there, get in the mix, guys, and all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, leave your comments. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Pretty interesting stuff. I'll see you next time.